In the year 2020, there will be approximately 40 billion gadgets connected to the internet. The largest tigers in the world live in Siberia. There are approximately 6,500 languages spoken in the world today. However, 2,000 of those languages only have 1,000 speakers or less. Most of the camels in Saudi Arabia are imported from Australia. There are still 30 million people living in caves in China. There is a skywalk on Tiananmen Mountain in China, which is a 200 feet 61 meters long with 8.2 feet 5 meter thick glass. The bridge is so high up that it allows visitors to look down on the peaks of smaller mountains below. In 2014, a man in China bought a first-class ticket on China Eastern Airlines where he went to the airport and ate free food for almost an entire year in the VIP lounge. Astoundingly, he canceled and rebooked his flight an incredible 300 times over the course of the year, and then canceled his ticket for a full refund once the airline became wise of his scam. The heaviest drinkers in the world are in Belarus, with 17.5 liters consumed per capita every year. 95% of the decisions you make have already been made up by your subconscious mind. Cocoa leaves are still used by Coca-Cola to this day. A company in New Jersey first extracts the cocaine from the leaves, giving the spent leaves to Coca-Cola to put in their drinks. In the early versions of the Little Red Riding Hood, the girl cannibalizes her own grandmother and then gets eaten by the wolf after getting into bed with him. In order to drink, giraffes have to spread their almost 2-meter-long legs apart, just to get close enough to the water. A giraffe's tongue is 8 inches 21 cm long. There is a condition called hyperthymesia that causes the person to remember every single detail of their lives. Only 12 people on Earth have this condition. A blue whale can consume 480 million calories of food in a single dive. Trypophobia is the fear of holes. Koalas can sleep up to 18-22 hours a day, whereas a giraffe only needs about 2. When Jadav Payeng was 16, he began planting trees since he was concerned for the disappearing habit for the local animals. He continued doing this for over 35 years. Today, he has single-handedly restored more than 1,360 acres of forest. Cats used to be sacred in Egypt, and if you killed one, you could be sentenced to death. Due to the aging population in Japan, adult diaper sales are about to surpass baby diaper sales. The mother of Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, was named Marge Wiggum. A group of stingrays is called a fever. The longest possible uninterrupted train ride in the world is over 10,000 miles 17,000 km long, which goes from Vietnam to Portugal. Only 5% of Norway's financial transactions are done in cash. In fact, it's possible that by 2020 Norway could be completely cash-free. Horror movie soundtracks sometimes include infrasound, which is sound below the range of human hearing. Even though we can't hear it, we can still feel it, and infrasound has been shown to induce anxiety, heart palpitations, and even shivering. The Wright brothers only ever flew together once, in 1910. This is because their father feared losing both sons in an airplane accident, so he gave them special permission just that one time. Every December 25th, the inhabitants of the Chumbivilcas province in Peru celebrate Takanakwi. This is where men settle grudges from the past year by calling each other out and having a fistfight. Then everybody goes drinking to numb the pain and move on to a new year. In Albania, nodding your head means no, and shaking your head means yes. The CIA once created a gun that could shoot darts that caused heart attacks. Upon penetration of the skin, the dart only left a tiny red dot. The poison itself worked rapidly and then denatured quickly afterwards. This was all revealed in 1975, in a congressional testimony. The average woman consumes 6 pounds of lipstick in her lifetime. Nissan used the number 23 in motorsport racing because the number 2 translates to Ni and the number 3 translates to San. 23 translates to Nissan. In 1961, James Monahan, co-founder of Domino's Pizza, traded his 50% stake in the company to his brother Tom for a used Volkswagen. Tom went on to sell his 93% for $1 billion. On their trip across the continent, Lewis and Clark came across a tribe that knew how to say son of a bitch in English. Phobos, Mars' largest moon, is set to collide with Mars or break up into a ring in 50 million years due to tidal forces. There was 1,561 celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg that reported an incidence of a great space battle over Germany in the Middle Ages. There was even a crash landing reported outside the town. The Polish government awards a medal for long marital life to couples who have been married longer than 50 years with at least one child, either their own or adopted. We actually live about 80 milliseconds in the past because that's how long it takes for our brains to process information. In 2010, police in Belfast, Northern Ireland used music from ice cream vans to calm angry teen rioters. Early humans in Southern America hunted car-sized armadillos and used their shells for houses. In 1986, a federal prisoner escaped during a prisoner transfer. A week later, he returned in a stolen helicopter and broke out his girlfriend. At Andrew Jackson's funeral in 1845, his pet parrot had to be removed because it was swearing. Researchers discovered a clam estimated to be 507 years old, the oldest ever living animal, and accidentally killed it. A safer cigarette, the XA project, was developed in the 70s, but tobacco companies pressured the inventor to bury it because it implied their cigarettes were unsafe. The FBI will reward $10,000 to anyone who reports people who shoot lasers at planes. In the 1950s, a Texas white man named John Howard Griffin went through extensive physical changes to become a black man and traveled for 6 weeks on buses through the segregated South. After publishing his experiences, hostility and threats forced him to move to Mexico. In 5 years, Jahangir Khan, squash player from Pakistan, played 555 consecutive squash matches, maintaining an unbeaten run the entire time. During this winning streak, he won the International Squash Players Association Championship without losing a single point. You can change your testosterone and cortisol levels by changing body language and acting more alpha. The screenwriter for the movie Castaway stranded himself on an island for research, and when a volleyball washed up on shore, it became the inspiration for Wilson. The galaxy M100 is so far away that if beings from there were to look at Earth right now, they would be watching the real-time extinction of the dinosaurs. When Mossad agents discovered Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann was hiding in Argentina, they kidnapped him off the street in broad daylight and smuggled him back to Israel on a commercial flight by drugging him and dressing him as a flight attendant. Venus flytrap is only found natively within a 60-mile radius of Wilmington, North Carolina. There are over 1,000 disorders of the brain and nervous system. 8 hours in a smoky bar breathing second-hand smoke is the equivalent to smoking a pack of cigarettes. The average amount of time required to attain a PAAHDAADDDDHEHE in the biomedical sciences is approximately 6.9 years. Bhutan was the first country to ban the sale of tobacco.